Thank you so much for watching online. My name is Sky and I serve on Arise Kids. If you want more information about our services, visit us online at www.arise.church. We hope this message speaks to you today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Well, today we're wrapping up the series that we've been in. Have you been enjoying H.A.L.T? I hope this has been something that's been ministering to you. H.A.L.T. Don't ever be too hungry, too angry, too lonely, or tired, because when you are, you're susceptible to sin. You're susceptible to the weakness in your life. Everybody has different weaknesses. We looked at being hungry. We talked about Esau, how he lost his destiny. He traded his inheritance for a bowl of stew. His hunger blinded his judgment. We looked at Moses, how he lost his opportunity to enter into the promised land because he got angry. It clouded his judgment. He hit the rock twice, and God said, you were disobedient and you're not going to be able to enter into the promised land. He lost it because he got angry. We looked at lonely last week, where Elijah, he perceived that he was all alone, and because he thought he was all alone, he wanted God to end his life. He wanted to give up because he was lonely. And today we're going to look at tired. Everybody say tired. Yeah, you sound tired. All right, we're going to look at tired. And I think this is the one that we can all relate to, because we know this. And some of you here, you could honestly say, I'm tired. And maybe you slept 10 hours last night. It's not only a physical tired, but spiritually you're tired. In your heart, you're tired. You sit here and you say, I don't know how much longer I can contend for my marriage. I'm tired. I don't know how much longer I can believe for a miracle in my children because I'm tired. I don't know how much longer I can believe for healing. I'm tired. You see, when we're tired, it really takes us to that place of just wanting to throw in the towel and wanting to give up. And we're in that place where you can get so tired where even the things that God are calling you to do, the things that you know God's calling you to believe for, you just say, I don't know how much longer I can do it. It's dangerous for us to be tired. In Exodus chapter 20, God was giving Moses the 10 Commandments. And in verse 8, he says, remember to observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath day of rest dedicated to the Lord your God. On that day, no one in your household may do any work. This includes you, your sons, and your daughters. How many know some of your sons and daughters observe Sabbath every day? Your male and female servants, your livestock, and any foreigners living among you. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens, the earth, the sea, and everything in them. But on the seventh day he rested. This is why the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and set it apart as holy. God was basically giving them these instructions, and the 10 Commandments, possibly 10 of the most important things that we base our life off of, these 10 Commandments. He says you're going to rest. You're going to rest. You got to take a day of rest. I've talked to a lot of people, come across a lot of people in life, and I've heard this answer more than once. When you see someone, how are you doing? How's it been going? Oh, busy, 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 busy. You got family members like that? Just busy, 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 busy. Oh, so busy. So much to do. So busy. And you just feel so worthless, right? Because you're not doing anything in your life. I'm so busy. Barely even made it to church today. I'm so busy. Tired. Busy. So much to do. And you got people that almost identify with the busyness in their life. Friends, tired is not good. Busy is not good. And when I was looking at the H.A.L.T, I came to the realization that I think the tired, is probably the most difficult one for us to navigate. Because when someone's angry, you say, well, yeah, I shouldn't be angry. I shouldn't be lonely. I shouldn't be hungry. But when it comes to tired and being busy, that at times, actually being busy can be rewarded. How are you doing? Oh, busy, busy, busy. Oh, man, good for you. Oh, that's good you're busy. Oh, good. It's been busy. We can walk away thinking, man, I wish I was more busy like that person. You can be busy but not productive. You can be doing a lot of things but not getting anything done. You can look busy but have no traction in life. If you ask somebody, how are you doing? Oh, I'm dying. Sick. We say, oh, go see a doctor, please. When someone goes busy, 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 oh, you can say, well, man, just keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. It can be one of the most challenging things because in our society, busy it's almost praised and rewarded, while rest can be looked at as being lazy or just slothful, or you're just unmotivated. You know, I was looking at some statistics. They found that fatigue-related productivity losses total around $2,000 a year per employee in the United States. That equals billions of dollars. $136 billion a year in health-related losses, accidents, occupational accidents, loss of productivity, because people are tired. Between 2005 and 2009, there were an average of 83,000 car accidents every year due to fatigue. That's not even counting the deaths that came from those accidents. Tired is not good. You have people out there who say, you know, I just work better under pressure. You ever heard that? Maybe you told yourself that. I used to tell myself that. I work better under pressure. Nobody works better under pressure. It's just that you have to get the work done under pressure. Someone put a gun to my head, I will do my work. You know, a lot of times we're under the gun, we're under pressure, and it's like there's a cattle prod now, and it's just that you're having to get it done. There's no way you're going to get work done better in 2 hours when you had 3 weeks. To get it done, to get started earlier, to do the project, to write the paper, to edit it, to have people proofread it over the 3 weeks. I've had my kids do that. I need a paper. When do you have to get it in? Tomorrow. What? How long did you have? 2 weeks? Why didn't you start? Oh, I just work better under pressure. No, you don't. Now I'm under pressure. And I got to help you, and I will help you because I want you to graduate, because I want you to get out of my house. Anyway. Nobody works better under pressure. We just lack the discipline to get it done. And a lot of times you're just running from crisis to crisis, under pressure to pressure, and you're tired, and you're on edge, and you're not operating at your best potential and quality in life. It's not just our physical person, but when our spiritual side of us is tired, you can make the wrong decisions. When your spiritual side is tired, you can make decisions that will affect your marriage and your relationship and your family and your job. And there are consequences to that, more than just money consequences. You see, when you're tired, it's just a lot easier for you to revert back to giving up, to throwing in the towel, to saying, I can't do it. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to believe for my marriage. I don't want to believe for the miracle. And the things that you know that God is destined for you, you just want to throw in the towel because you're tired. You're discouraged. You feel that you can't go on. It's not good to be tired. Today I want to look at a story in the Bible. Throughout the last 4 weeks, we looked at different characters in the Bible. The first 3 were characters you've probably all heard of at some point: Esau, Moses, and we talked about Elijah, 3 popular people. Today I want to talk about a guy that you might not have ever heard about. Maybe you never heard this story. It's a real story. You say, who's this guy? This guy's name, you might have not heard of him, but his name's Harry. Now, for some of you scholars, you're wondering, Harry, is that Hebrew? No, it's not Hebrew. Actually, the Bible just doesn't give this guy a name, so I named him Harry. I made up his name. But he's a real guy. And I wanted to give him a name because I want you to realize it's a real story, not just some guy. Harry probably had a family. He probably had kids. He had responsibilities. Harry probably had a job to do. And Harry, as you see in this story, made some choices in his life that cost him his life. So the story picks up in the book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse 32. And it says, one day while the people of Israel were in the wilderness, this is when they came out of Egypt and they're on their way to the promised land, they discovered Harry gathering wood on the Sabbath day. The people who found him doing this took him before Moses, Aaron, and the rest of the community. They held him in custody because they did not know what to do with him. Then the Lord said to Moses, Harry must be put to death. The whole community must stone him outside the camp. So the whole community took Harry outside the camp and stoned him to death, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Now, you might just hear this story right now and you go, OMG, what in the world is going on? This guy was stoned to death for breaking the Sabbath? You got to realize how important this was. They were living under the law. You know, under the law, there were stiff penalties. Aren't you thankful for grace today? The grace of Jesus. There were stiff penalties. They had warnings before about breaking the Sabbath. They had warnings about not observing rest. Harry knew that if he didn't observe the Sabbath day, that there would be consequences. You see, this story actually tells us two things. If I were to sum it up, two things. Number one is that there are always consequences for the choices you make in life. And I think it's amazing how there are people that think they can live life without consequences, that they can have an affair without consequences, that they can mess around without consequences, they can steal without consequences. There are always consequences. Now, God in His grace and mercy can forgive us, but there still may be consequences here in the natural. There are always consequences for the choices you make. The second thing you learn from this story is that you can work yourself to death. You can work yourself to death. And that's what happened to Harry. You see, the Sabbath traditionally started on a Friday night when the sun set till Saturday night when the sun set. It was one day, and it was one day when you weren't supposed to do any work. No work at all. And Harry, when I'm trying to imagine this story, add a little context and think about what it must have been like for Harry, because he knew, again, the consequences of being caught working on the Sabbath, that you'd be put to death. And Harry, he gets out there and he's getting some sticks. Because obviously you needed sticks to burn, make fires and all these things. And Harry gets out there and he needs some sticks. And I just imagine him getting out there that day. It was a Friday. Maybe it was about 3 o'clock. The sun was still up. And Harry walks over one of the hills and he looks and he goes, oh my gosh, I have never seen this many sticks in one place. Because they're in the wilderness, right? Not a lot of trees. He sees all these sticks. And he's like, my goodness, the sun's going to go down pretty soon, but I got some time. Let me grab some sticks. And he starts grabbing these sticks. And he's grabbing these sticks, and they're fat sticks. And they're big logs. And he's like, man, this is awesome. I'm going to be set. And he gets to the edge of the hill, and he looks over that hill, and he sees even better sticks. And he goes, oh my gosh, I thought those were good. I can't believe how many are there. Well, the sun's a little lower, but I can go grab some sticks yet. And he gets up there, and he's grabbing those sticks. Then he gets to the next hill, and he just can't believe how much even nicer those sticks are. Now the sun's almost down, and he's like, but I just could, just one more stick, and just one more stick, one more stick. And he's grabbing that one. He goes, I got to quit. But, oh, man, look at this one. Just one more stick. And before he knows it, he keeps on grabbing one more stick, and the sun goes down, and they see him breaking the Sabbath, breaking God's law. And he loses his life because he grabbed just one more stick. And you listen to that, and you say, well, that's such a ridiculous story. It's just sticks. But I wonder how many of us in our lives, married people, moms and dads, where we've said, you know what? We're going to go out today. We're going to spend some time together today. Where we're going to go have fun today. But before we go, you know what? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just make one more phone call. Before we go, hang on. I got to just check one more email. Oh, wait. I know I said one more email, but just one more text message. One more meeting, one more this, one more that. And before we know it, the time of rest is gone. And we missed the opportunity because we got busy. We focused on one more. And can I tell you that all the one mores you do today won't make the one mores from tomorrow disappear? They'll always be there. There's always one more tomorrow, one more a day after, and the day after that. It never ends. It's the rat race we're in. We just have to learn when to turn it off to rest. To turn it off to rest. You're going to get tired when you don't rest. And I love what Pastor Wayne Cordero says in his book, Leading on Empty. It's not that we forget we're human beings. We forget we're spiritual beings. Or I'm sorry, it's not that we forget we're spiritual beings. We forget we're human beings. See, in the bodies that we live in, we're going to have limitations. There's only so much our bodies can do before they poop out on us. And when I think about all of us here, probably if you own a phone, you make sure that your phone is charged every night. My kids, if their phone gets to like 68%, they are freaking out to get that thing on a charger. I would think that their phone's at like 8% when the battery's yellow, and they take my phone off, and I look at their phone still has a lot of charge. They freak out. They make sure that phone is charged. And maybe some of you, you've been in bed, you've been falling asleep. I didn't get my phone. You get out of bed to put the phone on the charger, and you're so good at making sure your phone's charged, but you neglect your body being charged. You neglect your spirit being charged. Just because you wake up in the morning and your battery's charged doesn't mean you're ready for the day. Doesn't mean you're charged. Doesn't mean your spirit and your soul is recharged. And even though we're adults here, how many know adults can get cranky? Some of you can be really cranky. And you might be an adult, but really sometimes what someone needs to tell you is, can you please go take a nap? You need a nap. I'll like you better if you take a nap. Go rest. We say it about kids all the time, but there are a lot of adults. You just need a nap. You need to rest. You need to go have more fun. You need to go do something fun. You need to sleep more. Some of you need to laugh more. Some of you married couples, you need to have sex more. Come on, married couples, are you here? You need to go enjoy life more because you've been running too tired. Let me give you 3 thoughts on resting. Number 1 is this. It's the 4th commandment. It's the 4th commandment. I say, what's the big deal about that? Well, if the 10 commandments were written in order of importance. Now, I don't know if it was. It doesn't say it was. But you could argue that it was. Because look at the first 3, right? The first 3 have everything to do about God, right? You're going to no idols. You're going to worship anything else. I mean, it's God. How many know that's important? Can I get an amen from the 3rd service on that? That's important. First 3 is about God. Now, I am not God, but if I was God and I was giving out those 10 commandments, I'd be thinking about it. All right, most important, these first 3. You're not going to worship idols. It's between you and it's just us. All right, the first 3. All right, so number 4, what do I really want them to know? I would probably, if it was me, I'd say, I think the number 4, next important one, don't murder anybody. How many of you agree that's important? Right? I'd be like, don't murder, don't steal. That's an important one. I'll put that one. And yeah, you shouldn't covet your neighbor's wife. You don't want to have an affair. I probably put all those. And then I get to number 10. I go, what? The last one? Hey, guys, here's the bonus one. Number 10, just make sure you rest. Make sure you rest. Don't forget that. I mean, don't forget the other ones because those are all important. But number 10, rest. Are you guys tracking with me on this? God did it totally different. The first 3 were about Him, us and Him. And then He goes, number 4. All right, here's the 4th one. Here's the next thing I want you guys to get. You need to rest. And I used to think about that, how crazy that was. Why rest? Why do you put rest at number 4? And one day I realized maybe it's because God knew that if we rested more, we'd be less likely to kill somebody. If you rested more, you'd be less likely to have an affair or to steal. Or basically, if I could put it this way, you'd be less likely to make bad decisions when your soul's rested. When you're rested, you'll be less susceptible to sin in your life. You see, number 4, the 4th thing he wanted us to know was rest. Everybody say rest. See, if we were rested and recharged, we'd be better able to resist sin. Souls that are full of rest have less room for sin in them. And it was that time when it's the reset in their week where they knew God was going to take care of me. I was going to rest. Work wasn't going to be our identity. And really, what was it? Taking that rest was faith expressed in their life. I heard somebody say this, that a couple of weeks ago, the person who can't rest has no faith. See, rest is that expression of faith versus somebody who's trying to make things happen. We take that time of rest and you simply say, God, I'm going to trust you. The second thing is this: Sabbath rest is a blessing from God. Everybody say blessing. It's a blessing from God. It is a blessing to be able to rest. See, the Hebrews, when they were in Egypt, they were slaves and they lived by the sweat on their brow. And there were merciless taskmasters who worked them hard, who were ready to punish them at any given moment for any sign of disobedience. And while the Egyptians around could take time off and they could enjoy and they could lounge, the work that the Hebrews did every day was a reminder to them that they weren't free, but they were slaves in the land of Egypt. And God came along and God said, I'm going to take you out of Egypt. You're no longer slaves anymore. You're no longer going to work every day. You're going to have a day of rest because you're free. It was a blessing. They were freed with the command to rest. God was going to take care of them. You see, slaves work every day. Free people get to rest. Have you been living like a slave, or have you been living like someone who God set free? See, God made that Sabbath for us. It is a blessing, that day to rest. And remember what Jesus said, the Sabbath was made for man, not for the Sabbath. And you can get legalistic about it, and that's not what this is about. They did it on a Saturday. I just say, it doesn't have to be on a Saturday, but take one day out of the week. What's your day? Find that day and take the rest. Take that rest. You say, what do I do when I take that rest? And that takes us to number 3. You stop creating and you allow yourself to be recreated. You can get legalistic again in it. And someone had told me in Israel on the Sabbath, they get so legalistic where you can't even push the button on the elevator. So on the Sabbath, on their day of rest, if you're in a hotel and you're on the 33rd floor and you're at the lobby, you're in for a ride because it just stops at every floor all day long. I mean, you weren't made for that. You say, do what recreates you. Do what recreates you. Some years ago, this is a long time ago, I went to Maui. This is when I actually used to surf a little more. I took my youngest sister with me. I was going over to hang out with a friend there, and my sister was a great, she used to surf and bodyboard. She had sponsors. She used to do contests. She'd win contests and all this kind of stuff. And I brought her along, and we went over. We're in Maui. I just had a bodyboard, so I was nothing special. And we went there. My friend was there. My friend was friends with these other professional surfer guys. And we made friends. They were Christians. I mean, we just all hit it off. We were having a great time. So we're going surfing with them. And again, I'm just tagging along, right? I'm just there. I just ride the wave, That's if I get barreled, woo, but nothing. I'm not drop knee. I don't do anything like that. And they had said, hey, they wanted to go to Hana, which, if you know, is on the other side. And so we went out there to camp, which, interestingly enough, while we were camping, we just left our boards and our fins out. We wake up, and there's these guys outside of our campsite, and they just kind of leave. And we realized they were actually there to steal from us. And they stole one fin, and they stole the one fin from the one guy who had no sponsors. Everybody else gets free fins. They took my fin. I'm still bitter about that. God will judge them for that. And we were out there, And there was this day, and it was pretty big. It was pretty big. I mean, short break. I mean, it was slamming. And I remember going out, and there was just that one wave. If you ever been out surfing, sometimes you have that one wave that just cleans everybody out. And I remember that wave came in, cleaned us out, slammed us. And I remember being slammed there, and it's like I'm in the water, and I'm just doing somersault, spread eagle. I mean, you're just spinning. I don't know if you've ever been there. Okay, it's like you're in a washing machine, and I'm just spinning, and you're totally out of control. There's nothing that you can do, and you're just trying to figure out which way is up so that you can get up and catch a breath. And I remember, I mean, I'm just being, and it's sucking me down, and then I'm trying to, the bubbles are going this way, so then I'm trying to swim up, and I need that breath. And you know how it is. It's like the closer you get, the more you need it. It's like when you go to the bathroom, right? When the closer you are, the more you need to go. And I needed that air, and I'm just right at the top. And right when I think I'm going to be able to catch that breath, it's like another current grabbed my legs and just boom, sucked me back down. And I'm just sucked back down. And now my lungs are burning. And I'm getting a little scared now because I'm trying to get, I need that air. And I'm struggling, I'm kicking as hard as I can, and finally I break free, and it's like when I got out of the water, I came out like Ariel in The Little Mermaid. And I remember coming out, and I just took that big gasp of salty air, and it felt so good, because it's at that moment you realize, I'm alive, I'm gonna live, I'm gonna be okay. Maybe you've been there. You've experienced that in the water. But maybe you've experienced that in life, where you're just stuck in the busy cycle of life, and it's just churning you, and you just can't break free. And you just can't breathe, and you just don't know if you're going to make it, and you even think you're going to take a break, and you're going to get away, and you're so close to that breath, and you go on that break. You ever gone on vacation, but you came back more stressed and more tired? I don't even know why I brought you guys with me. And you think you're going to get that. And you're exhausted. And you're being churned, and you're being sucked into the endless abyss of busyness and being tired. And I want to just simply ask you this question today. When is the last time that you took that deep, rich breath that revitalized your soul? That deep, rich breath when you realized, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to make it. It's going to be okay. You see, on that time of rest, it's when you do what recreates you. What recreates you? What is that deep breath for you in your life? Is it deep, dark cups of coffee with a little bit of cream and a little bit of sugar, maybe a hot scone, while you're curled up in the corner of your couch with a blanket and your favorite book and nobody to bother you while you can read for a couple of hours? Maybe it's finding an empty shoreline and to get out there early before the sun rises and to cast your line in the water and to sit there and you watch the sun come up and you just listen to the cacophony of the waves crashing all around you and the birds flying left and right, and you just soak in the creation that God has set. Maybe it's getting together with your friends and going on a trip, or just sitting down for good food and drinks and dessert and just laughing and bonding over that time. Maybe it's getting into your workshop and building something. You're a builder, and when you build, it refreshes you. Maybe it's working on your car or your motorcycle. For some, it's even getting into I don't understand this one, but doing yard work and gardening. And you do that, and I just say, what is it? What's that breath you need? You're so tired and so churned out in life. What is the breath that you need to take, that when you take that one breath, it refreshes you? When you do that, you realize, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to make it. I'm ready for the next 6 days. I just saw an interesting article just before service started where they said Microsoft Japan started giving their employees 3 days on the weekend, and productivity has increased by 40%. And I wonder if some of us are trying so hard and we're running so tired, we're so unproductive, that if we just took that one day of rest to refresh and to worship God, to recharge our batteries, I wonder if we'll do the next 6 days better. In fact, I don't need to wonder. You will do the next 6 days better. Your marriage will be better. Husbands and wives, don't feel guilty about getting away at times and leaving your kids at home. Sometimes, we got to take the kids along. No, you don't. Leave them home. Go out. You'll be a better mom and dad to them. They may not realize, Dad, don't leave me. Too bad. Mommy and daddy will be better when we come back. More rested when we come back. We'll parent better when you come back. Take the day of rest. Guys, it's okay to turn on your phones once in a while. Turn off your phones once in a while. You don't need them on all the time. I got news for you. You're not that important that you need every single phone call. The world will continue. If you can't answer a phone call, check your text message or go on Instagram. Well, that didn't go well with anybody here, but anyway. Just on a train a couple days ago, I had the worst seat on the train. It was row 9. Row 9 is the one that faces the other row right in front of you. You're facing each other. I'm literally sitting in front of a guy like this for hours. Literally like that. You don't even know where to look. And this guy, his phone kept going off and he answered every phone call without walking away. And I was thinking, this guy must be more important than the President of the United States. How many phone calls this guy gonna get? Sometimes we feel like we need every phone call, every. Turn it off, disconnect there so that you can reconnect here. It's so important that we do that. Jesus said, my yoke is easy, my burden to bear is light. If you feel that you've been having a heavy burden, maybe you need to take that yoke. Do what he says. Take that day of rest. If you can't rest, you're not going to have faith. I'm telling you. It's when you put God in control rather than you being in control. Sleep is the most vulnerable position that we as humans can be in. No matter how big you are, how strong you are, the smallest person can take you out when you're sleeping. You're vulnerable. My kids, when they were younger, I used to watch them sleeping. My kids would sleep hard. They still sleep hard. They'd be sleeping. You know, my kids, when they were sleeping, they weren't laying in bed up at night worrying about the mortgage being paid, the electricity bill, about clothes or any of that stuff. They weren't doing that. How many know that'd be weird if a little kid was doing that? You take them to psychologists if they were doing that. That's weird. They weren't doing that. You say, why not? Because they had a dad who was worrying about all those things for them. It was my responsibility, not theirs. And you know, we have a good Father in heaven. Why is it that we as his children lay awake so many times worrying about things that we shouldn't be worrying about? That we're worrying about things that we should just be letting him handle, and we just take that rest. You know, sleep is a great sign of faith. I've done that. There's been nights I've just been so stressed. I say, God, you gotta handle this. And then what do? I go to sleep. Go to sleep. I'm gonna trust you. God, I'm gonna rest. God, I'm gonna trust you. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna trust you. And I wanna encourage you today in your life. Some of you need to take that step of faith to just take that one day where you disconnect from the problems. You know what? The problems will still be there when you come back. You worried about it all day. You ain't gonna do anything anyway. You'll come back better equipped to face your problems when you're rested in your spirit. Tired is not good. Enjoy the rest of God. Take that time to rest so that you can fight for the things that really matter. Close your eyes with me today. Maybe you're here and you've never accepted Jesus in your life. You realize, I need to make that first step. See, the first step in experiencing his rest is inviting him into your heart. We don't go to heaven because of good works. We don't go to heaven because we come to church or even give an offering. It's only through the grace of Jesus Christ. Jesus died on the cross. He paid the price for you and for me. Salvation is simply a gift. It isn't earned. It's simply received. And today you're here and you say, I want to receive his salvation. I want to receive his mercy. I want to lead you in a prayer. In fact, can we all say this prayer together? Our entire church. Just say this with those who may be declaring this for the first time. Say, Heavenly Father, I ask Jesus into my heart. I believe Jesus died for me. I also believe that he rose from the dead. He's alive in me. Thank you for forgiving me. Thank you for cleansing me. I cast my cares on you in Jesus' name. And we all sit together. Amen. Amen. God bless you.